Hi, I'm Graham Bell, former Olympic skier and independent instructor with Maison Sport. In this video, we're going to look at bumps and moguls and how to tackle them. You're most likely to encounter moguls as an intermediate skier at the end of the day when the conditions are slushy, or if you've skied onto a piste that hasn't been groomed. And ideally, the best thing you want to do is avoid them altogether. But if you do end up on a mogul field, here's a few tips for skiing the bumps. So tip number one is to narrow your stance. Yep, we're going old school. Now this works for all levels of mogul skiers, but for intermediates, if you just think about feeling your legs touching each other, that will be enough. If you ski with your skis too far apart, one lean will be going up, the other one will be going down, and you'll end up on a bucking bronco ride from hell. So tip two, we're going to learn to slide the skis, so side slipping with your skis close together. Now you're going to do this diagonally across the piste. Try and point them down the hill and then try and skid your tails out. So let's take that side slipping into the bumps. So here we are in the moguls. These ones are just babies. It snowed 2 nights ago, but they are growing. And you're looking for the diagonal line that works its way across the bumps. And you can zigzag from one side to the other. But remember, keep your feet close together. So once you've got the hang of that side slipping drill, you can then move on to braquage, which is basically starting the same. You're going to point your skis down the hill, but instead of going back in the same direction, you're going to rotate them 180 degrees back the other way. Try and keep your upper body facing down the hill at all times, while your skis will then pivot and rotate underneath you. So there's a little bit of up movement to allow your skis to come round underneath you. And then you've got a little bit more weight on your outside ski, depending on the gradient of the slope. This ski lesson is brought to you by Maison Sport. Now, mogul skiing is complicated, and if you'd like to book a lesson in person, you can find me or a whole group of expert instructors on Maison Sport. So once you've mastered braquage, you can take that skill into the bumps, and tactically, you're going to look to try and make a turn every second bump, but you've still got that side slipping to control your speed. So tip number 3 is to start introducing some rhythm into that pivoting action. We want to have that rhythm of turning every bump. If you find a little bump to stand on, you can practice pivoting your skis from side to side. You notice that your skis go one way, your shoulders go the other way. It's kind of like that dance, Bill Haley and the Comets, doing the twist. You can even practice this in your living room. Once you've got it there, you can take it to the slopes. The next step is to try and introduce the pole plant to that. This will help you control that rhythm on a slightly steeper slope. So same movement, skis close together, side slipping across the snow, but the pole plant is helping me control the movement of my upper body. You can then take that into the bumps and keep that rhythm going. Think about planting your pole on the top of each bump that you're going to turn around. So I'm looking for a pole plant on top of each bump and a nice round line through the troughs. Keeping that rhythm going. It can be fairly slow, doesn't need to be really fast to start off with. So the final tip is extension and flexion. As you approach the bump, you want to be extended so that you can then bring your knees up towards your chest to absorb the bump. If you come towards the bump and you're already in a low position, you've got nowhere else to go. And your skis will come up towards your chest, but you'll still have more bump to come, and then the bump will then fling you up into the air. So you've got to be patient enough to wait for the bump and allow your knees to come forward. When your knees come up to your chest and your hips drop back, your weight then goes through your heels. When you then go over the bump, you've got to extend and bring your weight back forward again. To get a feeling for this extension and flexion, you can go back into a mogul field and traverse across the bumps, but instead of going through the troughs, you're trying to go over the top of the biggest bumps, and really trying to absorb the bumps as you go over them and allow your skis to come up to your chest. So now it's time to put it all together. Feet together, side slipping, pivot, pole plant, extension and flexion, forward aft balance. There's a lot to think about, and that's why mogul skiing is so challenging, but it's also a lot of fun. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this ski lesson and now have some tips to tackle moguls with confidence. And if you'd like to book a lesson in person, I'm Graham Bell and I'm available on Maison Sport.